Yeah. What? What? We're live. We're good.
He's just dancing, bro.
Yeah, the song's over.
I hear the music. Oh, it's delayed. That's right. You guys see the LPF?
Wow.
Hey! All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 10.
What?
Big 1-0. Double
We made
digits
it.
now, boys.
Fwee,
We did
fwee.
Whew. Today is Tuesday, April 6th. Tax day is coming up, guys, so make sure you get your taxes done.
Wait.
I did, by the way, and it's not what I thought would happen, Chris.
Oh, so
It's
you're good.
complete opposite.
All right.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's
good.
Yeah, I mean, they did push it back to May, though, so. Just
Yeah.
So you guys know.
So if some of you were wondering where the heck I was last week, I actually contracted COVID, which
You
sucks.
contracted it?
Sucks. Yeah, just for like a few weeks.
We contract, huh?
Yeah, we made a deal, but I'm finally getting through the final stages. I believe both me and Anna got it, unfortunately, and I want to say that if I can compare it to something, it's like having the flu, but your back muscles are constantly constricting and aching. It sucks. But the worst part is the fact that I can no longer taste or smell anything, which
No.
really, really, really sucks.
Yeah.
Eat your
So, like,
vegetables.
Yeah, I eat pretty much anything right now because it doesn't matter. I can't taste it, and texture is important. That's about it. But I'm towards the end there. I still have a little bit of a cough, and my stomach is killing me too. That's the other thing that it did. It just really messed with my stomach. But yeah, it sucks. Make sure you get your vaccine. You don't want this. You don't want this feeling. It sucks. It's like a booty hole. So
I get my
with that being
second one
said,
on Sunday.
let me reintroduce our co-hosts here. We have Chris. How are you doing this week?
Doing all right, man. Just another. These weeks have been going by pretty quick. Like the
They
next
have.
thing you know, I blink and I'm like, oh crap, I gotta get ready for a show. But I've been pretty good.
And what about you, Alan? What have you been up
I'm
to?
good. I'm good. Well, I mean, been up to, same old, same old. Trying to win the stock market in the morning, gaming at night, stuff like that. But I'm
Busy man.
glad you're feeling better, though. We did miss you last week, so I'm glad you're feeling better, dude.
Yeah, we got quite a trivia today. There are some harder questions that I have that are actually worth extra points.
Uh-oh.
But they're a little bit more obscure, so hopefully you guys really know your gaming stuff. So before we start with the show, let's go ahead and take care of some housekeeping, just some stuff you guys should know. First up, as we've been saying, make sure to follow us here on Twitch and on YouTube, because once we get to 50 on each platform, we will be giving away a brand new mouse that is custom colored to the LPF colors, I guess. It's got our purple.
Yeah, give me
really
one
great
second
mouse.
here, guys.
Yep.
I was trying to show it.
We good?
Yeah.
Good. Yep.
Whoop. Hold on.
Oh.
Sorry. Keep talking.
Whoa. Oh, behind the scenes, we broke the fourth wall.
Oh
Oh,
my
no.
god, this stupid computer.
Oh, there it is. Here it is on your screen for you. Ooh, excuse me. So yeah, that was the mouse. So you guys can see. Oh, there it is again. Bring Alan.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
gonna take a second. It's there though. It's there. You're
It's
good.
a sexy mouse. It's a sexy mouse. But
Yeah.
yeah, make sure you follow. I know some of you like to watch us and either forget to subscribe or follow. So make sure you go do that now if you're listening. Also, you podcast listeners out there, come watch our stuff if you have the time. If you have the time to listen to us, go to YouTube. You have it in your country, I'm sure. YouTube's worldwide. Come watch us, subscribe, support us, and maybe get a chance.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know what you guys have been thinking. Shout out to Jake. He's been listening to our episodes and letting me know what he thinks about them. So we really appreciate it. Let us know what you guys think. It really helps the show get better. Helps us get better. And yeah,
and thank you, Jake, for listening, and everybody else out there who's listening to us.
Is
And if
Jake
you
from
can't
State
view,
Farm?
just from State Farm.
and
So yeah,
he probably
if
unsubscribed.
if you can't tune in to us every Tuesday, just check us out. we post the show on YouTube. So, and we have the podcast. Second up, make sure that you check out Chris's video that we currently have up for you to watch, where he goes through his top 5 indie games that he thinks you should play. There's some good stuff on there. I'm not an indie guy, but all those games that he's mentioned have got great reviews and are well known.
Some are hidden gems, and some you should just go ahead and pull the trigger on while we're waiting for these AAA games to come out.
Just play Hades, everyone.
Yeah.
Just go out.
I might have to play it
all
myself.
All the other games that Chris showed were fantastic. I've played, I think, 3 of them because I played Undertale. I'm not going to give up the whole thing, but basically, so you guys can go watch the video. But
Yeah.
I played 3 of them. But if you had to play one of them,
Yeah, I think
Get
everybody. I agree. Everybody
Get
should try Hades.
yeah, at least once.
Yep.
Yeah, so make sure you go check out his video now, support it, like it, again, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know if you agree with his picks. There's some good options there. Or if there's other games that you would suggest that an indie lover would like to play. And then for this week's video, it is my turn, and I will be showing you guys 5 must-have PC apps that range from, well, I can't tell you because then you won't watch the video. But just to get ready because it'll be out on Friday. And again, Chris's video is already out. Go watch it, like it, and sub to the channel.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with our show stories. We don't have many. As a matter of fact, technically we only have 1 story for the week. The rest are topics. And then we have our show theme. Which the show theme, actually, I should start telling you guys what it is so you look forward to it. Show theme for this week is going to be exploring an alternate timeline where gaming is different. Things did and didn't happen, and just, alternate timeline. So I thought that'd be interesting to talk about with the guys here. But before that, let's go ahead and start with our first story, and we'll actually start with E3 2021 will be all virtual, and it'll be happening in June. So here's some quick need-to-know stuff here. It'll take place June 12th through the 15th online. There is not a paywall needed to get certain things like was previously rumored. That would have seriously sucked if E3 went that route, because that would have been pretty crappy of them, I would say. It's completely digital, no physical aspect, and fans can tend to. They will have a physical 2022 showcase, so that's gonna be exciting. Hopefully, maybe it's a new breath of life for E3, which I think personally was starting to just be irrelevant at this point. The last few years, a bunch of companies dropped out. Like I think Sony.
Sony was Nintendo was the first, right?
Nintendo, Sony. I think only Microsoft was a really heavy hitter there. Aside from other, EA pulled out. They did their EA Play.
Yeah.
Technically, they did it alongside, but let's see what we got here. There's not much else as far as what's happening. I know that Microsoft is gonna be there, and some other companies. Did you guys see any other companies that were confirmed to be at the online event for E3?
Rockstar has their own panel coming up, and from the most part, I don't know, because they just announced it today. They officially announced it today, saying that we're gonna go live. They announced the dates, so I'm assuming that probably next show we'll probably have more news on who's coming and how it's gonna show up. You could probably expect, the PC gaming show to be there, because they're always there, and they always have PC gaming show and then Devolver, which is usually between like midnight to like 7 a.m. So yeah, if you are in a tired loop or a little tipsy or something like that, and you want something funny to watch, then you have that. Other than that, they haven't confirmed everything else. Just Rockstar confirmed probably an hour ago, saying like, hey, we have our own panel. So
nice. So Chris, who would you like to see at E3? What kind of announcement would you like to see? Any big
Oh,
games
I think
that you're
Alan
hoping
knows.
for?
Alan knows what announcement I want, man. And unfortunately, even the podcast I listened to talked about it because they did a thing where it's like, "Do you think these games will ever come out?" I want to see Beyond Good and Evil 2. It needs
Oh,
to come
yeah.
out.
Just
Please.
give up.
I'm not gonna give up. I need to hold on to that game. I need to hold on, man. It's I'm really hoping to see it. I'm really hoping to. I'm also hoping that mostly from the E3 week, I'm just kind of hoping that Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft also do their live streams that week, which I know is not going to happen, but it would, in a perfect world, that'd be great. I think it's just going to be another indie showcase, to be honest. Because I would
From
say, but
Microsoft, you think?
I don't think Microsoft's going to go. I think they're going to announce that they're not going to go. Did
No,
they say they
Yeah,
were?
they are going.
Oh, they are going. Oh, well, then they're
100%.
gonna kill the game. That's it. Like they're like, oh yeah, you know what? Let's go. Let's do E3 and like let's just take over the whole show because that means Bethesda's gonna have. I'm pretty sure Bethesda's gonna have their own panel also. Then I don't think they're gonna mix in with Xbox. They're gonna do their own thing. Kind of sucks that it's not live this year because I always liked. Was it last year that Bethesda made like Bethesda Land or something like that, and it was like an actual carnival behind E3. Like people couldn't find it, and you went outside, and and there was like a Fallout carnival in the back that they built. Yeah, they did their live stream from there. So yeah, it was like a quirky thing, which I thought was cool. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I just want to see Beyond Good and Evil 2, and probably another remake. I don't know, maybe a Metal Gear remake, like a remaster. Not a remake, remaster, but something.
A remaster without Hideo, because Konami still owns the license
True.
to that. You know, they could remaster it, but
Eh,
I mean, there's nothing saying that it won't be a great game.
I'll have more. I'll have more next week to be excited
So
about.
with you now knowing that Microsoft is going to be there, what are you expecting from them? Any big titles?
I'm expecting a Halo Infinite beta. I think they're gonna take the Call of Duty route where they're just like, hey, beta goes live this weekend, sign up, and we get a little bit more on Halo Infinite. I also think like I know they're not doing paywalls and stuff, but I also thought it would have been cool if they did because there was like a lot of demos at E3 you couldn't play. Like you always watch people play it and you saw the long lines and stuff. I think it'd be pretty cool if you did like a small like paywall to do those demos so they can make some money. I think that'd be a great idea. But knowing this year that everybody's going to go in and just like, I didn't get to try any of these games except for the media, which is, that's how it was, back in the day when it first started. It's going to be different. Another thing from Xbox, I think we're going to get a lot of Game Pass releases also. I think it's going to be one of those things where literally their whole show, it's going to be like, you're going to hear the world premiere. And then right after that, they're going to be like, it's live right now. And everybody's going to be like, what? And then like after another announcement, it's going to be world premiere. And it's like, also live right now. Go ahead. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's what I'm expecting. If they have all of E3, then they're doing the right thing.
So since you actually mentioned it, if they did have a paywall, how much would you be willing to pay to play those demos? What's a good price point?
I do $20
to play all the demos shown.
All the demos shown. Unless they did it like in tiers, or like you're like paying like for like Microsoft demos or something like that, then it might get kind of crazy. But in total, I'd pay $20 to play. I'd say like 20 minutes of a game or 10 minutes of each game, something like that.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty.
And depends on the triple. I guess it would depend on the title too. Like if it was like, oh, you're gonna try all these indie games or AAA games, you know what I mean? They could definitely split it up, but also I can see it going way backwards too, like for them. But like I said, it's just usually I get excited because they have the panels of. I mean, they're still gonna have them where they're talking to the developers and they're playing the demo on the show. And you get to watch a little bit of the gameplay, and that's what gets you excited. But like also listening to the fans out there, and they're like, "Man, I tried this game, and it was really cool." Like getting that feedback, a lot more feedback than just, a media guy going in there and be like, "Yeah, it was good, I loved it." And then everybody's like, "Okay, so that's one guy. What about everybody else?" So it just kind of takes away that factor.
Yeah. What about you, Alan? What do you think about E3 being live this year? What do you hope to see as far as announcements, and would you pay to play the demos?
So, so the funny thing about E3 being like digital, I mean, to most common people, I feel like E3 was already digital because we were
Hmm.
watching it from our homes anyway. Like, so it being like having this conversion shouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, we won't have as much of the spectacle or as much as the show, but I still think you can do a really good job at promoting whatever you need to promote. I know Nintendo said they're going to be there, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take Two, Warner Brothers, and Koch. Those are like the people that are backing the comeback and stuff like that. And then the notable absentees are Sony, EA, Activision, Blizzard, Sega, Bandai Namco, and Square Enix. So those are the people who haven't said if they're going to be there. Um, but I also am interested to see this because I want to know how much the big guys like Xbox and Nintendo are going to actually show on E3, being that they also have summer events planned this year also. So, I mean, within the summer. So I don't know how close any of that's going to be. And I don't know if Xbox and Nintendo are going to use this as kind of like a start off point, like, oh, here's this, find out more, like, next week and stuff like that, which I kind of don't like because, like, I feel like, it's going to be kind of, I feel like the companies are not going to want to show too much on E3, knowing that they have their own panel or their own show later on in that month or later on in the summer to be like, hey, come watch it on our channel and not like, what I mean? Especially if, as we all said, we feel like it's gearing more towards companies doing it themselves anyway, because I mean, it's cheaper, it's easier access, you do it on your channels, it's self promotion, you can run whatever ads you want to run. So it ends up working out perfectly for those companies. So I don't know how much we will see. I do think Microsoft will give us like a at least one big game, and I think, like Chris said, I think it'll be Halo. I think we'll see something Halo. You know, as far as anything else, though, I think they're probably going to hold on tight. I think they might show us like a Halo thing, and then probably a Bethesda thing, and then be like, hey, if you guys want to see more, and then they'll probably announce there's going to be more like Series X's on the way, or like what I mean, the consoles and stuff like that. But I think they're going to hold a lot of their real heavy hitters till they get to their show. But I do think there's going to be, like Chris said, a lot of Game Pass exclusives that are third party, as we saw with Outrider and now MLB. They're going to be like, here's these games that you can play day one, which I think is what's actually going to happen.
Well,
Um,
sorry to
Go ahead.
interrupt. I think it's that like that's another thing that's just kind of been annoying me too is since E3 is kind of out right now, it's really getting frustrating with because we saw it last year with the whole console launch and everything like that. Them holding on, like everybody having their own show. I miss E3 being like the thing that was like all those companies. I mean, unfortunately, it probably caused a lot of crunch time because we realize we're in a time of crunch, but it brought everybody in together and they had to have a good show. They were like, okay, what's ready? Do you have that? Like, Halo, is it ready? No? Okay, don't even talk about it. Next. What else is ready? We have Call of Duty here? Okay, next. And they would go down the list. And then at E3, you got all your stuff that you knew that was coming out that year. Instead of doing the individual shows at like close to release, like I get it. It's they went the Nintendo route of just like, hey, like this game's coming out, or we have this game being made. You guys asked for it, and it actually comes out next week. And people are like, "What? That's so soon!" When actually, it was like they always knew it was going to be that date. And if you actually announced it at E3, then we know like, okay, hey, in 6 months we're actually going to get this game instead of like the week before, and they're like, oh, now it's a big surprise. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of tired of it being like separated, and I feel like it's going to go more into that this year. Last year was awful. Like I was excited for the news, but when we got it, it was so unfortunate. Like I was just like, I don't know what I have no idea what I'm excited for. I don't know what to buy. I don't know where to be. What do you want me to do? It's like so. Hopefully, it's just more 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 organized. I guess you could say. But with Microsoft being at E3, I feel like the next are hopefully Sony's not being petty and they like the following week they actually do their show instead of just being like, oh no, we have to go back to the drawing board and make it even 10 times better, and we'll be back in like 6 months. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Well, I mean, Sony's gonna, I feel like Sony's going to obviously use the time, like setting the time, which is why, again, I don't think any of these, like, I don't think Xbox is going to release too much, especially for that. But honestly, I don't even think, I think Sony's the only one who actually cares about this console war. I think Microsoft and Nintendo are so
They're
past,
literally for the
like,
gamers now. It's just
yeah,
like, let's just make games.
like,
Like screw
I,
like we're making money. Who cares?
yeah, I don't think,
Yeah.
especially, I mean, if anything, this year, I mean, I saw a really good gif of, not a gif, but a really good picture of like Xbox One's release and then like Series X's and how different everything is and like how much of a
I saw that
change
one
they
too.
made.
Yeah.
Like, and that, like, for me is like, it's crazy because they made all of these improvements to get better. And I feel like Sony's kind of like reverting in a sense because it's kind of like, oh, we're doing all these things even though their games are great and everything like that. I just don't feel like that connection with Sony anymore. I don't
No,
know
their
why.
energy is focused on their energy is focused on burying a company that they know like that's not gonna happen. They're just
Right.
like, how do we put this one to shame that we're gonna get more sales? And it's like we live in a world now that people are just gonna buy both now. Nobody cares anymore because all those times that we were watching E3 and the console wars were happening, all those kids that were watching it that were like Xbox, PS3 are now adults and they make their own money and they're just like, I can
Yeah.
have them both, and then they go and buy
Well,
both.
the whole like the fanboying is, it's, I mean, you should be a fan of gaming, whether like,
Yeah.
and competition is great. I want all games to succeed because it's just going to make the next games better. So like, I've never been of the mindset, like, I've always had pretty much every single one of the consoles. Like, I that to me it's just a petty argument. Like, you're just making, when you can have both, like, hey, there's games on Xbox that I really enjoy and then there's games on Sony that I really enjoy. Like, it, I feel like just gaming is universal. Play what you want to play on. If you don't like Sony and you don't like those games that are on Sony, don't get it. Like, it's 100% your choice
Yeah, it's
whether
okay.
you buy the game or not. Like, you don't have to buy it. So whatever. But to get back to E3, I do hope to see, I would love to see just to see Halo just a little bit, just to see what where we are, especially if you're planning on releasing it sometime in November. I do want to see where we are on that. Konami being there is going to be interesting because I don't know what life is without Metal Gear for Konami. Like, especially that we associate, you know, Konami so strongly with Metal Gear, especially as a recent. So I am interested to see that. I think Ubisoft will always show us something fun that is like, maybe Chris will get his wish and then finally get, Beyond Good and Evil because they're going to be there. So you never know. But
I keep an eye on
besides
Jason
that,
Gordon-Levitt's freaking Twitter to see if he's gonna be at E3. If he's at the event, that means it's gonna happen. Something's coming.
uh, but I mean, it's E3. I'm, as far as the paywall, I don't care for demos that much. Like, if a demo's not free, I don't really want to pay for it because I know the game, especially now, like within the last 5 years, playing like alpha and being someone who has played like alphas and betas now, the games that you get now, like, especially like the games that you get from alpha comparatively to like when the final product, the games change so much now that, like, I don't want my alpha, like, mindset of playing that game in alpha be the reason I don't get the game. So like, or be the reason why I don't try the game or whatever the case may be. So it's been really rare that I've played a game, at least personally, I've played a demo and then been like, all right, I'm gonna buy that game. I usually have my mind set beforehand, and it's really like word of mouth afterwards. Like, after someone plays a game, if I'm like skeptical of a game, I'll be like, okay, well, this looks like some good reviews and looks like a game I can get into. But as far as like a demo's actually swaying me to like want to get a game, I have, it's been rare that that's happened. So I don't really care for paying for demos.
Okay. Well, as for me, E3 being digital is like Alan said. It just hit me like, yeah, that's always how it's
Yeah,
been for us
it's always
normal
been like
people.
that.
So nothing's really changing there because I've never been. I just usually just watch IGN and watch them go through the floor. But just to keep it short, the what I expect from Microsoft is obviously Halo Infinite, and I actually think that Bethesda will be there alongside them, and I think we'll see some Starfield,
I
maybe
literally
there's
was just about to say it.
something.
I literally just looked it up,
Yeah,
and
I
it says
think
initial release date is 2021. So I feel like that's how
Yeah.
they open the
we'll
show.
have
We're
to
just
see
gonna get
something.
we're gonna get
No,
the
yeah.
world premiere, and then we're
Uh-huh.
gonna see
I
the
think that's
trailer.
the one game they show though. Like I think
So I
that
think that
Bethesda's going to be there for sure. But
Yeah, if they show that
I
though, we
think
won't
we'll
see
see
Halo.
that. We'll see that. We will see Halo.
no,
We'll
they will
catch
show Halo.
glimpses. We'll catch glimpses of these things, and they'll save the meaty part for later on for
Mhm.
their individual showcases. But I think we'll see Halo. We'll see something Starfield. We'll see something about Fable, which I'm hoping for because I really love the Fable series. I will probably see the next Forza, the mainline Forza, Forza 8 at this point, not Horizons. And I mean, maybe something Gears related. Who knows? For Microsoft. And then
You
the
could
other
see
thing
Hellblade.
that I'd hope to see, oh yeah, Hellblade. The other thing I hope to see, since I believe EA Play happens during the E3 event, I think we'll see the new game modes for Apex, which they've been uh, actually they've confirmed already. There's new non-battle royale game modes come to Apex. We might see more Titanfall in Apex itself, and then I think EA. What was that game that I was thinking?
You,
Lost my train of thought there. Oh man,
you think we get a Titanfall 3 trailer or
no,
any
I
mention of
don't think
Titanfall
so.
3?
'Cause I thought they stopped developing
Did
on
they?
Titanfall. Yeah, and they're focusing on something else or
Well,
I feel
something
they
like
like
that.
I feel like we'll
they
get Star
were
Wars Star Wars this year too.
Probably, yeah.
they stopped
Um,
working on it once the success. Well, once everyone thought that Apex was Titanfall 3, and in fact, it was them working on Apex, and then
yeah.
Apex succeeded, and then they got the Star Wars contract,
Mm-hmm.
and then now it was like we're not going to see the best first-person shooter ever.
Yeah, because they're working on that open world and then some other games too.
As far as what the other companies will bring, I'm not really sure. I just, for some reason, I think Microsoft obviously is going to be the biggest one as far as the biggest announcements. We'll see glimpses of games, like I said.
Oh, I'd
And
like
when it
a.
comes
Oh,
to, yeah,
sorry. Go. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, because I'm going to change topics
Oh,
after
okay.
this.
I was gonna say I would like to see another South Park game. I don't
South
know
Park.
why. Yeah, I would be down to see another South Park game
That first
if they
one's
made
really good. Stick
the
of
first.
Truth is really
Yeah,
good.
Stick of Truth was hilarious. I still have fractured butthole on my back burner, but
See what you did there.
it's.
Ba-dum-tsh.
But I like the
Oh,
superhero things, and I heard good things about that game also. But that game was just a lot of fun. I laughed out loud a lot. It's really good. I enjoy it.
yeah. As far as paying for demos, I'm kind of on board with each of you and your opinions on it. I would love to try out games before they're available to the public, not just through Game Pass and stuff like that, but just to see what it's about. And I mean, I can separate and distinguish between a game that's an alpha, a game that's in beta, and that won't affect my judgment on the overall game. I just want to see how the mechanics work. So I think demos are definitely uh, that'd be something I would pay for, and $20 seems reasonable.
Yeah.
So
I got one more
with
thing
that
too. Hold
being,
on.
yeah, go ahead, go
Sorry to
ahead.
interrupt. What did you? How long do you think until we get a VR segment of the show? Like how you have PC. Like PC gaming show hasn't always been there. It's been, or has it always been there? No, it's been there for like 3 years that they created their own show. Um, but I feel like there's more VR games coming out. Like each month, there's a new release of something. No, nothing too huge as like Half-Life Alex, but like how long do you guys think until we actually get their own segment?
I I don't see it happening. To be
No,
honest, it's
that
not
wouldn't
big
be a
enough
thing.
yet to
I
get enough
okay.
interest to have people do it. So yeah, I don't think so.
Listen, I think VR doesn't take off until major companies start making games. So like until like you get games like Half-Life on a consistent basis, like
Mm-hmm.
VR is always going to be where it's at because again, it's those mini games are not something like people are just going to go, "Oh, that's cool." But if you could say, "Hey, you're going to be able to play Halo in VR. Like that will have people like running to it, like Assassin's Creed in VR. Like games like that, you need like major titles in VR for like gamers to take VR seriously. Until that happens, I think VR is always going to be in the state that is in now, but it just needs to happen. It needs like major game titles to go to VR and be exclusive to VR and have exclusive features and stuff like that. Not like a repurpose like Skyrim or whatever the case may be. It needs to be like a VR based game with VR mechanics in mind and be like a first person, like a first party title.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. All right, boys and girls. It is now trivia time.
Oh
Oh.
So
boy.
let's get ready here. So, like Chris pointed out to me, we are in a new month. So that does mean that Alan was our very first winner. He won last month with 5, 6, 7, 8 points. The runner up was Chris with 4. And then, as far as our best guest, Orlon wins with 2 points. All right.
That
But now
last
it's a
show was
new-
bull, bro. That last quiz was.
Don't be
This
a
one,
hater.
this
Oh,
one
dude.
might be even harder.
Oh my
Don't be a
god.
hater.
I don't know, man. But remember, some of these are worth extra points. So let me write this down, Alan and Chris, and then guess later. Okay, let's see here. We have 6 questions for this week. Make sure you're not Googling. All right, question number 1. So here's how this is going to work now. I have to finish the question, and then you guys can say, hey, me, or right here, blah, 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 and then I'll call on you. All right?
All right.
Okay.
We raise our
Question
hand.
number first person to raise their
Okay,
hand. I'll be able to
alright.
I feel like
spot you.
there's latency issues in that. Just saying.
No, I'm watching you on Discord.
Mhm.
All right, question number 1. Here we go. The Xbox 360's user interface was known as the blank dashboard. Chris?
The Xbox dashboard. I feel like. Oh, the one where you're like an animated character and stuff.
What is the name of the dashboard?
Oh my god. And give me 1 second. I gotta close my door because my dog's gonna start barking.
Live dashboard?
Nope.
I don't know.
All right, since both of you got it wrong.
Oh, dude. Does it have dashboard in it?
Yeah, it's blank dashboard. I'll give you each one more chance. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Cortana's dashboard.
No. Alan, final answer.
It's gonna be something stupid.
X dashboard?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, gentlemen, it's called the Xbox Blades dashboard.
I've
Blades.
Never in my life. Why? Why?
Blades.
What?
Do you remember the original Xbox 360
had the
dashboard?
things. Yeah. I
Oh,
blade-
oh,
they-
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They called those the Blades.
Man, I remember when the update came out and you could get your character, like they introduced the character. And I remember like
avatars?
I was ready to I was getting ready to go to school. I was like, come on down, because I wanted to see it so bad.
All right. Question number 2. This one's worth 4 points.
Oh shoot.
Remember, let me finish the question first. The Nintendo Famicom was first released in Japan in 1983. What does Famicom stand for, and what was the name of the remodeled version later released internationally? Chris?
I don't know what Famicom stands for, but I'm gonna say Game Gear.
Nope.
Damn.
Game Gear was Sega.
It was Sega. Is that the glove? Or wait, no. What's the? Okay.
No, that's the Power Glove. But
I'm not in my element. What's the name again?
I'll repeat the question. The Nintendo Famicom was first released in Japan in 1983. What does Famicom stand for, and what was the name of the remodeled version later released internationally? Alan?
is it the gun?
Nope.
Then I don't know. These
Chris?
are
Famicom. Fit and something, and then the Wii board. I don't know. Wii motion board.
1983,
This is
dude.
1983.
Yeah, the first Wii motion board. The first Wii motion board.
All right. Looks like we have 2 questions unanswered. All right. The first part, of that. Famicom stands for Family Computer,
Oh my
NES.
god.
and the
NES.
system was later known as the NES, or Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yeah. I was like, NES.
Yeah. Told you this
Oh
one's gonna be hard.
no. Yeah,
It's
well,
worth
as soon
4
as he
points
said
for a
4
reason.
points, I was like, oh, there it goes.
Okay. Question number 3. Blank, Escape from Butcher Bay, is a first-person action and stealth game developed by Starbreeze Studios and published by Vivendi Universal Games. Released for the Xbox and Windows in 2004, the game is a tie-in prequel to the futuristic science fiction film Blank. Alan?
So I know what the science fiction film is. It is Pitch Black. The game is it's the Riddick game. I don't know the Escape, right? Escape from what you call it?
Escape from Butcher Bay.
And it's Chronicles of Riddick. It's
That's right.
Chronicles of Riddick.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
nice,
right.
nice,
Yep.
well, I knew that for sure.
Nice.
But Pitch Black is the original movie of Riddick.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Chronicles, because
Nice.
and I only know that because Pitch Black is one of my favorite movies of all time.
That game was actually really, really good. That was a hidden gem back in the
Never
time.
heard of it. I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
It's a good game. All right, question number 4. A spin-off of the well-known Half-Life series, this game puts you in the shoes of Shell, who is tasked with finding creative and mind-bending ways of getting through various rooms in the Aperture Science Laboratories. Chris.
Portal?
That's right.
Portal 2, the best game. What if we got a Portal 3, man? You think we'll ever get that game?
Right.
We'll never get a
I
Portal
would
3.
Kill for a Portal 3, man. That game is so much fun with people.
Portal Royale, you just
So
got to
much
shoot
fun.
portals at people and make them fall off the earth.
It really shows you how stupid or smart your friends are, man.
Oh, yeah.
Or yourself. Like, how the hell did I not think of that?
We might have to stream that game.
Right? All right. Question number 5 is worth 2 points. Here we go.
How much
Lord
was
Saladin.
wait, hold on. Was Alan's
1 point.
question
You
was
guys-
1 point?
Yeah, you guys are tied.
Oh,
One
okay.
Hey, I
point.
answered 2 things on that question.
Yeah, I was about to say I'll give him 2.
No, there was only one.
I was in your camp, Alan. He said it.
Okay.
Rules are rules. Rules are rules.
2 points. 2 points. Here we go, ladies. Here we go, gentlemen. Lord Saladin, Amanda Holliday, Oryx, Gravemind, Rasputin, Zavala, Jacob Keyes, and Ikora Ray are all characters from the Destiny franchise. Which 2 on the list are not from Destiny? And which game are they from? Chris.
Can you say yeah, can you actually say the names again? Sorry.
Lord Saladin, Amanda Holliday, Oryx, Gravemind, Rasputin, Zavala, Jacob Keyes, and Ikora Ray.
Jacob Keyes is
Which-
Jacob Keyes is from Halo. And then Rasputin Rasputin could go either way, but I feel like that's not in Destiny.
That's your final answer?
Yeah.
Incorrect.
Damn! I know part 1 of it is right. I know.
You'll get a point because it is from
Okay,
Halo.
so-
Alan, do you have any guesses?
No. I
So
didn't
if
play
it's not Rasputin, then you have Amy something Holiday. Is that-
Amanda Holliday.
Amanda Holiday. I'll go with that one
Wait,
for my final question. Okay, well
incorrect.
then I'm out.
yeah, I don't play.
Okay.
enough.
The 2 are Gravemind and Jacob Keyes, and they're from Halo.
Gravemind's from Halo. Halo 5,
Yeah.
isn't it? Or is that the
Gravemind is the Flood
Oh yeah, in 3.
father, whatever you want to call
Oh,
it.
yes.
So I
You're
will
right.
give Chris 1 point for answering half of that question. It is from Halo.
Where's Amanda? What's her face?
Amanda Holliday?
Is that the
She's
blonde
in,
chick
The
that you see?
Hangar.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right. Last question is worth 3 points. This one's pretty easy, I think.
Hmm.
What is the name of your canine companion in Fallout 4, and what breed is he?
Oh, go ahead, Donald.
Alan?
And he's a German Shepherd, and it's dog meat, right?
That's right.
Oh, it is dog meat. Okay, I almost said
Yeah.
Riley. Riley's from Call of Duty, correct? I think Riley's from
Riley.
Ghost. Yeah, there's a dog named
oh, yeah,
Riley
yeah,
getting
yeah.
Ghosts. Okay, that's what I was getting
Alright,
get
well-
confused with. I knew it was a German Shepherd though.
Alan is starting the month strong with 4 points.
I
All
should have
right.
5
Hey,
because
but I'm not trying. Hey, hey, hey,
question.
hey, relax.
I'm just saying. The Reddit question, I answered 2 things.
Don't bury
It's
me.
the same. It's the same answer for the same thing.
What? For Riddick?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah, but I'm
Oh,
saying it was
the only
escape and then
answer to
single
that
escape.
party.
the
Yeah,
only answer to that question was
was
the
escape.
Chronicles of Riddick.
Oh, okay.
No, wasn't it?
It
You
was
said
escape.
escape. Yeah.
You said
Escape. You
blank
didn't you said
from
blank of
from
Yeah, it was the Chronicles of Riddick.
no. But you said
The
blank
game,
of
was called
the
escape.
blank,
Okay.
the Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay is the full name
Nah, we'll talk
yeah,
about
of
it
the game.
later.
that's what I got right. So that's 2 things.
Okay. Hey man,
I'm
you're already
saying
winning, all right? Okay, so since we were talking about demos, that got me thinking, and this is one of the topics for the show. Do you guys think that get demos should make a comeback, and should they be mandatory? Something that we have to get from developers. Alan.
you know what? Now that you say the thing is, do you mean more free demos? Because I feel like we do
Yes,
get
free demos.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like early access is a version of a demo, and then you end up keeping. But I would like it because I do think we should. I think it would help developers as much as it would help people know if they want to play the game also, because I know people release an alpha and stuff like that, but it doesn't really give everyone access to those things. I think the issue that they mostly run into is the fact that most games are just multiplayer now, right? So like your single party games are so like your single player games are like so small now that they don't have that much um they don't have like I feel like those games actually are the games that we end up having that are polished besides Cyberpunk. But like if you think of like any single player game that we've played like recently, I feel like all of those games came out pretty well, like not, necessarily needing a demo. I feel like most of the games that do give us issues are the multiplayer aspects and them coming out with like having server issues and things like that because I mean Outriders, which I know Yendi and I are both playing. I know Yendi's playing the demo of it, but um, I know that game came out. It did have a demo that was free that you could play for a good amount of time, and then but that game came out and it was all multiplayer issues. Like the game itself didn't have any issues, but everything multiplayer wise was an issue, and they did a really good job. The folks at Outriders of keeping the people like in the loop of what was going on, which they deserve credit for that because they were on Twitter constantly in the game and stuff. But I think to go back to Andy's point with the
So
demos,
before you go any further, I meant it more as a way to experience the game, not as far as testing it to see if it works. I'm talking about to see if you like what the game offers. Do you like the
okay,
story? Do you like the combat? Do you like the characters? That's how I meant it.
okay, so
So
more so of like a finished game, like a finished game already, and then the demo comes out like 2 weeks before the game's release or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
like where demos were
Or it's
traditionally
yeah,
already out
had.
and then you
Yeah,
can play the demo and just like before
yeah.
you buy. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I do think they should, and I think that would be a real easy way to I think you should give like kind of like maybe 2 hour time limits and be like, hey, play this game for 2 hours, see what you like. I know Steam kind of does a faux version of that where you can buy the game and then if you play it under 2 hours, you can return it and get a refund. But I do think that'd be a great idea. So you can play a game for like 2 hours, see how much you enjoyed, if you like it, and then buy it. I think it would give the game more access that people will be like, hey, I tried the game out, I enjoyed it, and now I'm going to buy it. So I do think we should go back to demos and get at least a limit, like a time limit to play them. I think that'd be a
And
dope idea.
do you believe that demos should be mandatory for every game?
I would mandatory is I do think they should be mandatory just because like again it gives but speaking to us as a consumers obvious like I would want that because it makes that's 100% beneficial to us because especially if we're playing it a finished product of a game already like because then we decide whether we want to play it or not and then it I know they would lose business on the people who buy the game and then play it and then because the game company doesn't care if you bought it and then returned it because at that point it doesn't matter. the sale already happened. So I do think it would be amazing if it was mandatory, just because that 100% of it benefits us as consumers, as being able to play whatever we want, see testing a game out, and then if we don't like it, we don't play, like we don't buy it, and if we do buy it. So I would love that personally. Yes.
I think they should definitely make a comeback. One of some of my fondest memories when I got my original Xbox was getting the Xbox magazine and putting that demo disc in and just
Mhm.
playing. I would literally just play demos for like months until my parents could afford a game. Right? Like I remember, I think Yakuza, like
Yeah.
one of the very first or the very first Yakuza game. I just played forever and ever and ever, and it was just a level. And I loved getting new magazines with demo disc in them. It was the best thing ever. So, and that also had me try new things that I would not normally do, which is what pretty much Game Pass is nowadays. But
Hmm.
uh, I do think this should be mandatory because it would give the consumer a more educated guess. Like, hey, I played this. I know what I like and know what I don't like. Here's my now $70 because I believe that's what next gen games cost.
Yep.
Correct?
Hmm.
So that, I mean, that's pretty much an investment, and unfortunately, I don't think demos will really ever truly make a comeback or be mandatory because, in the end, publishers would lose out
See.
on a lot of sales because people would play these unfinished games, like you were
Hmm.
saying, right? And then be like, I'm not buying this crap. But as far as game content, character story, I would love to have a comeback. I would love to um, be able to actually experience it first before shelling out $70. And this came about because I was able to play a demo for Outriders, and otherwise I would have to buy it, then and there, and then hope to God that it's something that I liked and I wanted
Yeah.
to finish. So, but because now I've played it, I'm like, okay, I'd like this, and this, but I'm still a little hesitant on if I want to spend the $60. But I'm so glad that I was able to experience the next big thing in gaming thanks to that demo. So, Chris, what do you think? Should they make a comeback? Should they be mandatory?
I think they should make a comeback. My experiences were more like yours, Yendi, where I used to get demo discs, and I used to actually. I had a friend that got Nintendo Power magazines, and as soon as he was done with his demo disc, he would let me borrow the demo disc, and that's how I experienced what was it, Shadow of the Colossus for the first time. I remember you just fight the first boss, and I remember thinking, I'm like, what is this? Like, what? I've never seen this before. And then also there were some demos that I actually ended up making like a challenge because some demos weren't just the first level or like a part of a level. Some of them actually had like a little time limit on it, and it's just like you have 10 minutes. And it was I think there was a Tony Hawk demo that I played that you had 10 minutes to skate and explore. And I would try to get as far as I could, like go as
Yeah.
far as I could to see like as much of the game as I could in that 10 minutes. Because as soon as the 10 minutes were up, it was just like it would fade out and then fade back in, and it was like coming out this time, blah, blah, like order it and all this other stuff. So I miss the demos. I think I mean for the most part on Switch the demos happen quite a bit. There's a lot of Nintendo games still that they still kind of follow that formula. A lot of those games do have demos that you can download for a little bit and play. Um, I think though now they have like counters on them, so as soon as you enter it, after a certain amount of times, it's just like, hey, buy the game. Like you can't
Yeah.
play this
They
demo
did that
anymore.
with Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Oh,
they
really?
it'll let you know like, hey, you already played your demo. Like either buy the game or you know keep going. So, um, but you guys are right. I don't think they're gonna bring them back, unfortunately, because we live in a day and age of early access, and all they have to do is slap a sticker on it that says early access, and people will forgive the companies for a broken game. So if they keep doing it that way, they're gonna pay us, and then we get the money, and then we can finish the game, like an unfinished game. So with a world like that, man, it's not gonna come back anytime soon.
Yeah, that's unfortunately I think that's the way it is. That makes me, it makes you question: is Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass just a glorified
Demo.
demo, right?
Uh,
Like,
mm-mm.
right? You have so many games that you can try. If you don't like it, you uninstall it.
I feel like Alan's doing the Arthur
no.
meme, like
It
clenching
would be
his
like
fist
the,
underneath the.
to me, it seems like a next
No.
generation, like a demo transcended. Like this
Is
is the
it?
future of demos, right?
No.
Because
I
you have no repercussions.
no. I do agree with that. Like I do. I wouldn't say it's like the next version of demos because but it is the best way to try an abundance of games. I do 100% agree with that. Like I do feel it is the best way to just try. I mean, you can try over like 50, like over like 100 games at any moment, you want to, but it is, I mean, you know what, Randy, you're right. It is basically, it is. Like when you say it
Right?
out loud, like at first,
Right?
it's kind of like, no, but I mean, it 100% is because I mean,
It's
you are
Xbox
getting a
demos.
finished game. You're getting a finished game that you can play. If you play, you have an unlimited time to play it, and then if you don't like it, you stop playing it.
Yeah,
So
because I
yeah, you're right.
recently Doom was Doom Eternal was a game that I kept whenever it came out and everybody was getting it, and I was on the fence about it. I was like, I kind of want to play. I never played a Doom game, right? So I was just like, I really want to play this. I was watching Twitch streams, and then Bree would watch me watch this, and she's like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "Oh, Doom. I'm thinking about getting it." She's like, "That's not you. That's not like your game. Like she knows what I play. She's like, you wouldn't like that." I'm like, I don't know. So finally, whenever they announced it, that's the first thing I went for. I downloaded it, played 20 minutes of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm like, this is a cool game, but I don't see me finishing this. So like,
Yeah.
so it was just like one of those things. Like you played the 20 minutes, and then as soon as I was done, I was like, hey, it's a cool game. I just don't think I'm gonna finish it, and then deleted. And and if I do decide to go back, literally, if I do decide to go back, it's just like reinstall. So
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's quickly go over this next topic. So just give me some quick answers to this, so we can move on to another one.
lightning round.
What? And this is something I saw on Reddit. Let me go ahead and go to it. Oh, Reddit's down. Cool.
Yikes!
Is it really down?
What's funny
The
too
heck?
is that I have the Twitch stream up on my
There it is.
laptop, and recommended channels. It's literally Outriders, Monster Hunter, Outriders.
All right, so the great Batsby over at Reddit says, occasionally I'll browse the Steam store for a new game to pick up and something will catch my eye, but upon further investigation, something kills any interest. For example, any kind of card/deck game is a no for me. I'm sure that they can be excellent, but I just don't care about them and don't want to play them. So I'll go first. As far as game genres, the question is, sorry, what genre of game is a consistent no thank you from you? For me, I have a few. That will be fighting games. One, because I'm just not good at them. Okay, I don't want to spend the time to get to know the mechanics. There's just nothing really about it interests me about fighting games. MOBAs is another one. I tried it. I tried League. I just could not get the fascination. I'm sure that if I would have spent some more time in the game, I would have got used to the mechanics and all that stuff, but I didn't feel like it. I just didn't. The only reason I even installed it was because everybody I know plays League.
Maybe you'll like maybe you'll like the Pokemon one that comes out.
Maybe.
There's a Pokemon one too. I forgot when it's on.
Let's see what we got. Fighting, side scrollers, platformers. I'm so burnt out.
Yendi, I'm tired of you, man. Why we always lose this? We're always losing subscribers because of you. We're canceled.
Listen. I'm gonna be 33 this year. I'm old. I'm senile. I hate things now. Like I just find myself hating a lot of things. But platformers and side scrollers have always been something I cannot stand it. There's so many of them. It's so saturated. All indie games are 90% of the time are platformers or side scrollers. And if you say no, you're a liar. Tell me it's not.
Go watch my video.
Tell me a majority of indie games are not side scrollers or platformers.
Majority, yes.
Boom. Okay. But, now, with that being said, Chris, what are your genres?
I'm upset, man. Hold on, my stomach hurts.
It has to come back to me.
That's right. We got to get that.
My stomach hurts. Anyway, mine is MOBAs. I'm kind of I'm one of those people that even though I don't like a genre, I always download it because in my mindset that I have is that I'm great at everything, and then I play the game, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm great at everything. It's just a bad day for me. I'm just gonna just uninstall. Just uninstall. It's not my day. But yeah, MOBAs for sure is just like that's probably the only genre that I've come to know that I'm like I just can't play these games. Everything else I've played, um, I guess competitive racing games. Like from time to time, I play those a lot. Um, and then recently, I got my butt kicked by Yendi, and I kept ending up in the grass and in the wall. Uh, I love side scrollers and everything like that, but I can't think of any other genre. What do you think of music games, Yendi? What's that genre? Is it just music or
Music,
rhythm?
yeah, I'm indifferent. Music rhythm, I'm indifferent about them. I'm not good at music. I don't know. I don't have any rhythm, honestly. And again, something I'll admit, just like with fighting games, I'm not good at fighting games. I'm not good at music games. They don't do anything for me personally. I'd rather play something else.
I
But yeah,
play games
music is a lot
because
of
my
fun.
friends play games, and I enjoy. Even if I'm getting my butt kicked, I usually jump genres because if you guys were like, Chris, let's play League of Legends. No matter how much I hate League of Legends, like I'm gonna get on and then suck at it and just enjoy it with you guys. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna go actively by myself and be like, yeah, let me play League. So it's just one
Yeah,
of those things. But yeah, for me, I guess you could just say MOBAs. It's just not my thing at all.
is that it? No more
Uh,
genre.
I can't think of anything else. I really like everything else except for I'm starting to come around to it, but I guess RPGs like the turn based ones besides Pokemon. Like I used to just play Pokemon. Um,
Okay.
and I was just that kind of person. And then I got into Final Fantasy, the remake, but I want to go back and play the other ones. So I just gotta find the right one. So I always keep trying those games because eventually I feel like one of those games has to be like in my spot where I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, this is it. Like it finally clicks why people like these games, and this is mine. So yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the next topic. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
All right, Alan.
We've been
Which
disconnected.
genre of games is the consistent no thank you from you?
As of recent, it has been the survival style games. As you guys know,
Oh yes,
the
I
I can't play them. I literally have tried. Like
Now,
I
wait.
have
Is this before they exploded in popularity, or have
no.
you always had this
It's always
disdain for
been
them?
this kind of. It's not even a disdain. It's just I really. I mean, it's like you said with fighting game. Like I don't really find the joy in playing those games. Like I try and I love the concept of them. I think they're great concepts, like playing with your friends and stuff like that. But I don't know if it's like that I don't have like a direct goal kind of thing. And it's more like I think it's like, you kind of build your world or whatever the case may be. And I know they change and I know they're different, but every time I get into those games, I'm like not a fan. Like Grounded, I was super excited about. I
yeah,
played it
that
like
wasn't
twice,
it,
and
man.
then I was just like, and it's a good game.
Yeah,
It
it
was it
was
was a good game. It's just like I lost interest in it. Minecraft, same thing. Um No
Valheim.
Man's Sky after like, the updates and stuff, like I was enjoying the like 5 to 10 minutes that I was in it and I thought it looked great. And then I was just like, bro, I don't know. I just lose interest in them so quickly and I don't know why. And I've played with friends, I've done everything everyone has said, and I'm just like, you know what? This is just the game title, like the genre. That's just not for me. It used to be also strategy games, and then I played Gears Tactics, and then I was like, I might be reconsidering.
What's
If games are
what's Halo Wars? Is that considered strategy?
Halo Wars is strategy
Yeah.
also.
Okay.
So like,
RTS, yeah.
yeah, I
RTS.
might
That's
be
what it is. Okay.
reconsidering my positions on because from what I heard, people said Gears Tactics is like similar games, so I'm gonna go back and try those because Gears Tactics was really fun and just plotting out,
Yeah,
the
like I said,
ways
I
you
don't
went
think I don't
behind
think
covers
anybody
and
can
stuff
hate
was
a
so fun.
genre. It's just like you just gotta find. You have to challenge yourself to keep playing them until you find one that's gonna eventually like click with you. So
With
that's
that
all
being
it is.
said, Inside was technically a platformer.
And a side
That game,
scroll and a side
in
scroller.
a
Yeah.
side scroller, technically,
Yeah.
and I can't remember why I played it, but I did, and I finished it, and I liked it. But I will never willingly. Oh, it was because it was free. It was a PlayStation Plus game.
Was
And I said, oh, whatever. I played it, loved it, whatever. But I would never willingly pay for a side scroller or platformer or download a demo for it. I don't care.
Play Ori, Will and the Wisp. Amazing.
It looks great. Looks great. Yeah, some of these games look great. Celeste, Ori looks beautiful.
Shovel Knight.
Shovel. I always hear so many good things about Shovel Knight and how many they have a bunch of games, right? Or a bunch of expansions. But
yeah.
Shovel Knight has been one of those games that I have on every. That's probably the only game I actually bought on every single console I have. I just keep buying it.
Yeah.
That and Castle Crashers for me. I have so much Crash.
Yeah. I'll have to check that.
I was more open to those type of games when Xbox Live Arcade was still a thing, because that came out during the 360, I believe. It was fun back then, but I have played so many that I just have genre fatigue, I guess you could say. Because I may play another side scroller platformer, but not willingly, not anytime soon, probably. So, okay,
play Will of the Wisp.
Maybe it's on Game Pass, yeah. So.
Tell you what, he'll play Will of the Wisp if you play is it like Too Deep, Stranded Deep, something island. It's on Game Pass. I wanted to do this survival thing with you guys where we're on an island.
I think it's just called Stranded.
Stranded, yes. I was gonna download it tonight and see if you guys want to play this weekend, but now that I know Alan doesn't like survival games. But I did get Yendi. I did get Yendi back into Fortnite, guys. I will say that. And it was a mistake because it made me very, very salty. I was very upset for the rest of the day. That's when I sat down and watched all 4 hours of Justice League afterwards.
It's still installed on my main hard drive, only because we were trying to get the triple threat challenge. But every time I see that stupid ass F on my screen, man, it makes me rage so much, and I lose respect for myself.
It's already gone. It's already gone. I always play the new season. I play like 2 games of the new season. I'm like, this is why I hate the game, and then
You uninstalled it?
I already that you can uninstall it.
Okay, then I will gladly uninstall it and get those 16 terabytes back for actual non-trash. Anyways, moving on, gentlemen. Okay, here's another topic that I had, and the topic is: should older games, past gen games, be left in the past? And this was inspired by a tweet by Brian Altano, who I think still works for IGN. His tweet says, "You're free to do what you want, but I personally can't agree with the 'I didn't buy a new video game console to play old games' crowd. It's like saying you only watch brand new movies and shows on your 4K TV because it's too expensive to watch The Empire Strikes Back on." So, I'll start this one. I disagree. While I do have those games that I love going back to, in the end, 90% of the time, I don't want to actually play it. I just get engulfed by the nostalgia. A good example of that is Morrowind, my all-time favorite RPG, probably my all-time favorite game, period. But every time I try to go back, I installed it when I made my PC. I installed it on my Xbox. I think the Xbox One allowed it, had backwards compatibility. I could not do it, one, because of the graphics, and it was so clunky. And I realized I just installed this because of nostalgia. Like, in my head, it's so much better. So yes, I do think that old games should stay in the past and they should not come forward into the new generations. Are there exceptions? Possibly, but I can't think of a game. There are certain game styles, like cel-shaded games, that really still look good no matter what you play them on, because of the art style itself. And then, of course, platformers and side scrollers, because that formula hasn't changed. But in general, I do think that games should stay in the past on old gens, and they should not be ported over anymore. Alan, what do you think?
I mean, the thing for me is, if you want to play an old game, that's really your choice. Like, I wouldn't want to not be able to play it. And I agree with you in the sense of going back and playing those games are not what you thought they were. I know some games hold up really well and stuff like that, but I feel like having the option shouldn't be taken away, because there are some people who haven't played those games, and let's say they only have an Xbox or whatever the case may be, and they're like, oh, this game finally is ported, and they're able to play it, and whether they make that decision to continue to play it is their choice. So like I don't think it should stay in the past because like there's always people picking up a older game like super late that they haven't been able to play, and having access to be able to play it, I do think it's a good thing. Now, the what you I do agree with you in going back and playing those games. Like a lot of it is nostalgia, and then sometimes you just don't end up playing it. But for the newer crowd, I think it's fine that if they haven't played the game before.
Now, okay. Well, I lost my train of thought. Chris, what do you think?
So, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought too. With the older games and everything like that, I think. I mean, I'm one of those players that I'm okay with going back. The reason why I became such a big Beyond Good and Evil fan is because one of the guys on Twitch that I was watching during an E3 was talking about 2 being announced, and when 2 was announced, I saw how hyped people were. That game came out in 2003. It was a PS2 game, and I got it on Steam. And as soon as I got the first 10 minutes, people go back and they always complain like these graphics are awful, blah blah blah. It takes you like 10 minutes to adjust, and then you're fine. After that, it's just nostalgic. Like I still play Mario Party 2 on the N64 with my friends. I go to my friend's house, we hook up the 64, and we play. It's kind of getting harder to play those games now because we're going into just HDMI ports. So I mean, recently I did, which I'd like to say because last show, you guys know I was looking for a PS Vita, and I got one. It comes in on Thursday.
Oh,
I got a memory chip for it already, and the games I'm gonna put on it is Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, Daxter the game. Like I have all these older games that I'm gonna have on there. So I kind of wish they had more handheld stuff that you could play those games on, because in today's world, I'm pretty sure my phone could run run those games. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool to go back, and if you could go back on some smart devices, that'd be awesome. And I do like the remakes that they're making and reboots. I just recently went back and played Ratchet and Clank. I just beat that recently, and I played the rebooted version, and seeing how close it was and how much it reminded me of the past, like the older games, it felt good. It's just a nice feeling to go back and remember what it was like to play as a kid. I mean, there are some games that you like, with Morrowind, it should stay in the past and just like remember the memories, because there is a certain point where you're just like, okay, this game is just kind of broken now. Like I can't play it. There's not a good way to play it. And that's how I felt with the first Mass Effect at first. I played on PC and I couldn't do it. I was just like, this game is so messed up. And now they're remaking it, I know people are just like, yeah, we didn't buy new consoles to play old games. But I mean, like if it's not broke, you know what I mean? Like in majority of the conversation is all the time is like, you think about these next gen games, and like at least one thought that goes into your head is just like, man, what if this game looked like this in today's like what would it look like in today's graphics? You know what I mean? Like, and you want to take your favorite game and see what it would look like in these new graphics, and because now you're seeing, because back then that game to you was just like, this is new, this is crazy, like nothing's gonna be better than this. And now we're here and we're just like, holy crap, like now we see what it is, and we just want to see what the past looks like in the present.
So the point I wanted to make was that Nintendo does this actually. They will leave games on older consoles and then sometimes reboot them, bring them to the newer consoles. And I had a question. So, man, I am like losing my train of thought so easily.
It's COVID. Today. It's COVID brain, bro. It's a real thing. You got COVID brain.
Black Magic TKL says it all depends on how far back we're talking. Like I'm not going back to play Soul Reaver. Okay.
I am. Shoot. I just downloaded that recently actually. But so, that's my thing though. My point is kind of like it's kind of like what I said earlier. It's like it's your choice whether you want to go back to play those games or not. Like at the end of the day, I get it. You didn't want to, you didn't get new consoles to play old games, but I don't think that's an issue within the old games. I think that's an issue with Sony, Microsoft not releasing these new games that you want to play. Like I don't think that's a problem within the console, I think it's the developers who don't have the games out for you to play yet. I think we're
So
like upset with the wrong people.
with that, my question then is, do you think because these games keep coming back and keep being remastered, that is making the landscape stale, and we're not getting as many new IPs as we used to because they're making big bucks on like the reboots and remasters? So
Now,
do you think that's a factor?
yeah, now that is a good one because I agree. I do think we're getting too many remasters and reboots. Like, I feel like, you know, every game doesn't need a remaster and every game doesn't need a reboot, especially when it's not we're getting remasters of games that didn't come out too long ago. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that, to me, I don't like, because I have the same issue as a person who loves to go to the movies and watch movies, that I feel like we have too many reboots and too many remakes, and we have no original content in Hollywood anymore. And it's like pretty much we're just getting a bunch of remakes of all these old things. And I personally don't like that. And I do wish we could have room to grow for newer IP, especially in gaming in that sense. But like, I feel like I said before, the older games, if you want to play them, that's your choice. But the I think it's a different thing. Like remasters and reboots, that's like, I get the wanting to play your older games and stuff like that. But I do think it hurts newer titles because, I mean, Square Enix just showed it. Square Enix made so much money off of Final Fantasy VII Remake that they don't really have to make anything else. Like, because the next one is probably going to outsell anything else they make. So in their mind, they're kind of be like, well, why wouldn't we make any other game when we can just focus on making Final Fantasy VII, and it will pretty much make all the money that we made making any of those newer games. So I do think
Yeah,
that kind of saturates it.
Black Magic TKL says it's just like the movie industry, which is, yes, true. They love remaking stuff, but like, think about it. That developers have to spend time to get that remaster made
To
and out to
work.
public when they can, yeah, when they can just spend that time instead on new IPs. But I feel like, I while I still think single player games are important. It seemed like it's an old thing now for most of these people. A lot of these people that play game nowadays are younger. They don't care about any single player game. They just care about Fortnite or Battle Royale, or Call of Duty. They don't care to play a 8 hour campaign in any game. I mean, I feel like that's an old thing now. Like, that's in the past. It's not something that people really look for. I mean, PlayStation had to go out and say people still do play single player games, and you see what happens when you put great developers on new IPs. They make awesome stories. So I think it is a waste of time bringing back those old games. Yeah, they might sell a lot, but you have to take risks. You have to take chances, or nothing new is ever going to get made. It's just going to be stale for years and years and years until something like Outriders comes along. New IP. Look how much attention it's getting. It's new. It's brand new. It's exciting. That's what I miss about the gaming industry and community. It's just having something new. I don't want to talk about Mass Effect again. And I've never played it. I might, but I want to be talking about some other Starlink. I want to talk about Starlink.
Yeah.
You know,
But
for
do you
example.
think we'll get a like a remaster of stuff too, like in the future, like when the PlayStation 10 comes out?
I
No.
think remasters are going to keep coming no matter what. It's just a cash cow at this point.
Yeah.
Like, it's a given. People are going to buy it because people are nostalgic.
And
If they re-release, yeah, go ahead. What do you say?
oh, Black Magic asked, so do you guys rather remastered games or the games being ported into a new system? Um, I personally like. Hold on, I'm about to sneeze. Okay, it's going away. Um, I felt this with. I'd rather have remasters, to be honest. Um,
Yeah,
I do like the newer graphics when they are newer graphics instead of it. Like, I hate whenever they say it's a remaster and they port it and they just change the lighting a little bit. Like
yeah.
when they remastered Halo 1, right? Halo 1 or the Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, like I like the fact that I could hit the back button and see what it originally looked like and then switch back to see what they changed. That's
That
really
was
cool.
cool.
Yeah. But recently with the whole Mario All Stars, I played Mario 64 because I never beat it as a kid and I finally beat it. And I remember when they announced it, they're like, "Oh, Mario 64 is coming to the Switch," blah blah blah. And I actually thought it was a remaster. And then whenever I saw it, I was like, "Oh, it's the same thing. Cool."
Yeah.
And then I started playing it, and it was just one of those things, man, where I'm just like, I wish this was remastered. I don't want to see this anymore. Like I've seen this too much. So yeah, I'd rather have the remaster than a ported game, because every time they port it, there is there's latency. We're waiting to see how well it goes with what is it? The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. We'll see how that goes, because it's going from a Wii game to a Switch game, and they said it was a little difficult to get over. So you're gonna feel, like, you know what I mean? You're gonna feel outdated stuff on newer stuff, and it never really works out. It always feels very clunky and awkward, and then it ends up ruining the whole memory of that game.
It's also remastered for me for sure. If it lesser of two evils to me. So yeah, remastered. Alan?
Same. Exactly for exactly what you said.
Okay. All right. So speaking of stuff that's still stuck in the past, or doesn't have to be necessarily in the past. Our next topic it's just a simple question. Just give me like your top maybe 2 or 3, and then your number 1. Which console controller is your favorite and why? And what would you like to see added to it in the future? So, Alan, which is your favorite console controller? Why? And what would you like to see basically changed?
Oh, bro, that's
It
rough.
is actually an interesting one. So, my favorite controller, like honestly speaking, has been the Xbox One, like the Series S controllers, because the different axes I feel are perfect. But my
The
only
offset? You're talking about
the
the offset
offset,
stick? Okay.
like,
Okay.
dude, I just like it. It is like my dream controller. It feels perfect in my hand. Like it it has always been like I I actually thought about this recently because I have so many controllers now, and I was like, which one of these are my favorite? And I was like, like anytime I'm playing on my PC, I use an Xbox controller. It just I don't know what it is, but the feel is great.
It feels right.
It's the perfect the
Yeah.
perfect size. It's perfect. Like I don't know what it is about it. I love Sony's controllers for the D-pad, like because I like the separated D-pad, especially when you play fighting games. That helps a lot because it makes it a little bit easier, in my opinion. But I hate that I hate where the two analogs are. Like it's
Yeah.
so
Thumbs
annoying
in
to
each
me,
yeah.
and I'm just not a fan. And the funny thing is, I have like the Switch Pro controller, which is pretty much an Xbox controller, and I'm like, oh, this feels perfect. So I'm gonna say Xbox controller,
Okay.
Xbox
Now,
One.
Chris, I know that you are a controller aficionado as well, and you have some pretty super fancy controllers. Why don't you show us one? I know you got one lined up for
Yeah, I
us.
got. So I also was gonna say Xbox controllers. I do like the offset stuff. The thing I would change is that I think that like they should just go ahead. I mean, like I like scuff and stuff like that, but like this is a close to I want to say $200 controller, right? And that's because they're the only ones who make the paddles. They do everything. Like these right here. This little button here is a little trigger stop. So if I'm playing Call of Duty and stuff, instead of the bumper going all the way down, it only goes down a little bit instead of just all the way. So yeah, I've always liked the Xbox controllers, and then even whenever it came to PlayStation, Scuff came out with PlayStation controllers that look like Xbox controllers, and that's what I ended up getting. It just feels right, man. That offset of the thumbs, like it's weird. I'll play Call of Duty or something like that. My aim feels like it improves when it's like this. Whenever it's like next to each other, something's up. I can't think about it. But going off of that, it's just I'd say like a close second for me also was I like the feel of the GameCube controller. Oddly enough,
Hey,
I really,
you had that's my ergonomic one right there. Like
so like
feel, man.
so in today's world, I do like the Xbox controller. If Nintendo went back to, I mean, I still actually use the GameCube controller on my Switch. I play not Super Mario, Super Smash with the GameCube controller. I just like the feel of it. But
so question for you, Chris, since you do have a scuff. So Microsoft bought Scuff a while back. I don't know if you knew that.
I
So
didn't. I
why
think they
don't you?
partnered.
y- Yeah, I'm pretty sure they bought them.
Oh,
I could
okay.
be
Well, if they
completely
bought
wrong.
them, then cool.
Yeah, okay, so assuming that they did, which I'm pretty sure, why don't you think that you don't see any Scuff features in the new Xbox controller? Wouldn't that be considered like
Because
something
Xbox made their
new gen?
own with the whole
The Elite, right?
yeah, the Elite. And then I think Scuff wants to just make sure that they can do their own thing because this right here, this is the Scuff Vantage, right? This is when they actually partnered with Sony and designed this specifically for Sony. You can only get this for PlayStation, right? It was different because you could what was it? What was the difference? Oh, they added, so instead of just these paddles here, right? You had also side buttons here. So it was just more like this was the controller that was supposed to be like if I compete against the PC player, I should be able to get to wherever I need to go on my controller and keep up. And essentially, right? It didn't launch well. It didn't go well. There was a lot of issues, connectivity issues and stuff like that. I just feel like they just want to do their own thing and make their own controllers. And there's more companies out there. There's another one called Battle Beaver, I think, that's been rivaling Scuff because some people don't like the paddles.
Yeah.
And instead, they actually put like small little circular buttons on the grips. So where your hands are, you're just pushing buttons on the grip right there. So we're starting to see more and more of it, and then that's going to make these controllers less expensive, which is a good thing. But yeah, I only see more buttons on controllers. To be honest, I feel like they're just going to put as much as they can, and you're going to go from there. Hopefully, they leave it to where it's like, hey, we have all these extra controllers, or we have all these extra buttons for you to program yourself, but we're gonna keep the original of like the A, B, X, Y, and your normal games will do that. And then if you want to add it to your like how kind of like that macro keys, that's what these are gonna be. Just program them to what you want it, and those are there for you. But for us, we're not gonna design a whole game for you to like press the left, clicker on the bottom, stuff like all this other stuff. So, but yeah, Black Magic also says Sony controllers for him.
Nice. So just to clarify here, Scuff is actually owned by Corsair.
Yes.
Yes.
They did at one point license the IP patents and innovations to Microsoft, though. So I don't know if that went out the door when Corsair bought them.
No,
And that might be
2015 is when they did that, and I think that's why they were able to make the Elite controllers the way they did.
Gotcha. Yep. I've always wanted an Elite controller. Actually, as far as for me, my overall favorite is the Xbox One, like the new one. It just feels right. It's the right size. The texture is great. I love all the color options, man. They are killing it when it comes to color options. PlayStation has like what? Well, technically just one now.
Yeah,
they used to have a few different colors for the PS4, but Xbox, man,
that's why they need to invest more into. This is another thing I'm gonna brag about Scuff more. Like you can change the faceplates off, and then also there's people that like. Do you guys like heavy controllers or light controllers?
I've never given that a thought. Actually,
no. Like so, this one you see the rumbles right there. You can actually take the rumbles out, so it doesn't vibrate, and then it makes your controller like this feels weightless. So sometimes I'll play like that, but I like a little bit more weight in my controller, so I keep the rumbles in. So I hope in the future they just let us like. Hopefully you're just able to design it that way. You know what I mean? Because majority of the time I don't play with vibration anymore on my controllers. It's kind of a waste. Yeah, I'd always turn it off.
Time ago.
Yeah. So unless on the PS5 one, I do use the haptic ones on story mode games because that's how they designed it, and I want to experience it that way. But other than that, yeah. But yeah, that's it. That's all I have for that.
So yeah, Xbox for me, and like Chris said, the GameCube controller ergonomically is such a beautiful fit in my hand. Mm-hmm. It was really awkward at first to play Wind Waker with, but I grew to love it. So now finally we are at what Black Magic says. Yeah, when it comes to customization, it seems like Sony refuses to give you more options. They leave it to third parties to fix up their controllers.
And then sue them.
Yeah. And sue them. Exactly. Like they can't even was it Dbrand was asked to take down either skins or something for the PlayStation controller, PS5, BS.
Did they really?
Anyways, Yeah,
do.
they're suing companies for making.
Because they made it. I just recently. I almost bought the all black. Like you can buy the all make the PS5 look all black and stuff. I was like, that's pretty dope. That's
Yeah, I think they got
stupid,
in
dude.
trouble for that.
It's because they're coming out with plates. I guarantee you those plates are coming
Yeah,
out.
for sure. Okay, so we are towards the end of the show. Let's go ahead and talk about our show theme. And the theme is actually a few different questions, but it's a general talking point. And that is exploring an alternate timeline where the gaming world is not as we know it today. So, part one of this is what if the original Xbox flopped early and never gave PlayStation competition? Would Sony still have all its well known exclusives? Who would be their biggest competitor? And what reasons do you think would have led to the failure of the Xbox? Alan?
So this is I love this. By the way, I wanted to give you credit for that. But so speaking of what we spoke of earlier and competition, right? So I don't think Sony would have. I think their games would be good. I don't think they would be the level of masterpiece that we are at like now. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't think I think Horizon Zero Dawn would be a good game, but because of the competition, that's what made it a masterpiece in my opinion.
Would it even be a game?
That's what I'm saying though. Like I don't think they and that's what competition brings because I feel like we're dealing with this as a person who plays sports games. And I was just talking about this recently where NBA 2K is the only basketball game you can play right now. And that game, it back in 20 like 12 ish, like around that time, when it was coming out, was the best basketball game you could play. And then NBA Live, which was the EA counterpart of it, stopped being made. And ever since that happened, all of the 2K games from then on have been downhill. Same thing with Madden. Madden downhill once they owned the rights to all of the NFL and could be the only person to come out with an NFL style game downhill. So I think competition brings out that drive in games. Like it just makes things better in every asset. Like I feel like we deal with that in movies. I feel like, but to go back to the question is basically like I do not think we would have any of those crazy like I don't think the games would be as good as they are now without that competition. And I think what would have failed Xbox is kind of what they still deal with is kind of being like, you know, they were just a newer console that some people just were like, "Oh, I don't want this newer console. Like, I don't care who's making it. It's not Nintendo. It's not Sony," kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? And I feel like that would have been a reason for it to fail. Like back in
Would you
the
say it's safe to say that the reason the console didn't fail was because of Halo and Halo only?
yes, absolutely. If Halo would have been a flop, that would have been it. Like, I don't think uh, Microsoft made so much off of Halo being Halo. And I don't think if like let's say another first party title they had came out, I don't think Microsoft would even be a discussion right now, to be honest.
And who do you think would be the biggest competitor to Sony if Xbox was not a thing?
I think it would be Nintendo, but honestly even then I feel like Sony would have still like, you know, still would have just because even like now we think of Nintendo as kind of like, oh, it's very like we're gonna get it if you want it, but not very like a competition, unless like some big PC like you know like started getting exclusives that were only on PC kind of thing. But
Hmm.
I feel like their biggest competition would have probably been Nintendo, and that's like not even like real competition in my eyes, to be honest.
You think Sega or somebody like that would come out with a new console?
Dreamcast.
No,
Dreamcast.
remember,
Oh,
no,
oh.
but the thing
So
is,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. Go ahead.
if we're saying Dreamcast, but here's the thing though, because remember when Xbox came out, it was around the same time, like it was after Dreamcast had already come out, so like it had already like
Yeah.
Dreamcast had already flopped by then, and I didn't mean Dreamcast did like it flopped only because
The
if it would have came out
CDs and
properly,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah, which you know, hint hint, my video next week is about Dreamcast. So
Hey.
Damn it.
if it would have, you know, done a few of the things right, again, I will always say this: Dreamcast would have been the best console of all time if it came out properly.
Ooh, yeah, nice, nice, nice. All right, so let's keep you going. Let's finish out the rest of the points here. So the second part of this question was, Let's say that Naughty Dog never branches out and develops the Uncharted or Last of Us series. Would they still be known? Would they still be as well known as they are today? And what do you think their next big game would be?
Listen, if Naughty Dog didn't branch out and make Last of Us, I might have cried. Not even though I didn't know, I wouldn't have known, but just the idea of thinking about getting Last of Us and Uncharted 2 taken away from me, it would hurt my feelings. I don't think they would be as big. I mean, Crash, because let's say Crash ran its course, right? So Crash would have already been out, and that was what Naughty Dog was known for, which is one of the shocking things about Last of Us and Uncharted is was that I remember finding out that Naughty Dog was making those games. Like, you know what I mean? And I was like, huh? And then I mean, after Uncharted, they kind of like blew us away, and then it was like, oh, this is it. But like, I don't think they're as big without those two titles because I think that gave them the relevancy into the next console. Like now we want any Naughty Dog game, and I think that's because of Uncharted. Like Uncharted being what it was, kind of gave us that push to be like, yo, I'll play anything that Naughty Dog makes, and that's how
Yeah.
I feel. Like
Black Magic says in the chat, lettuce, mayonnaise, and onions. Sega Saturn 4 would definitely be a thing.
And that's our show, everybody. Thank you so much. Cue the band.
Okay. All right. So last section of
Oh
this
my
before we
God.
move on to Chris. Okay, Alan. Let's say that shooting games, first-person shooters, third-person shooters, anything with having to do with the gun, Grand Theft Auto, never existed. What genre is the latest craze, and what game is number one on the best-selling list?
latest craze, like as in recent,
What genre would be topping the charts?
I think it'd be I think it'd be the survival style games like you know Valheim and games like that because people really are enjoying those style of games and I know it has an element like shooters but are not technically shooters but like I think people would gravitate towards games like that if first person shooters didn't exist. I mean it would be it's a hard world to even think about first person shooters not existing because again it's one of those things where like we've
No,
already
no battle
experienced it.
royale, no
I know
Halo, no Call of Duty,
it's hard
no
to
Fortnite.
it's hard because we've experienced it and I'm thinking of it as more of a sense of us it being taken away from us. So like but I do think it would be those kind of games. I do think sports games would be a little bit more would be also higher and fighting games because I think people crave a lot of first person shooters just crave those people crave that competition and I feel like games like that even MOBAs give you like that sense of competition. So I think those would be kind of the games that would be at the forefront if first person shooters didn't exist.
Okay. All right. Well, Chris, let's start with the first part. What if the original Xbox flopped early and never gave PlayStation the competition? Question number one. Would Sony still have all its well known exclusives?
I think Sony would have their well-known exclusives because I don't think at that point I don't think the beginning of Xbox at that point they were just making games. Everybody was just making games. Everybody had an idea and they went with it. Actually, because I keep thinking about Halo, right? Halo set a path for so many other games. There's so many of those developers that you talk to today are they always talk about like, man, I remember growing up playing Halo and thinking like, man, I want to make a game like that. And then they go out and they make their own space adventure and everything like that. So without Halo, a lot of the games that we have now probably wouldn't happen because those guys would not be inspired by that game. They wouldn't have a game that it's something else would inspire them. I also think personally that I think that Microsoft is actually going to go away, not like as a company, but like Xbox in general. I don't think they're going to make consoles. I feel like in the future they're going to become like Stadia and just make a very nice like Xbox Game Pass app that you can get on everything and play games. That's my opinion. But without that competition there, I think Sony would kind of be a little bit of a it'd be slower paced. I feel like we'd still be Like we wouldn't have like the great adventures that we have now. I think it'd take a lot longer to get to where we are now. Another thing is too that I wanted to mention because Alan was talking about sports games. Because this is a side note from the question. First PlayStation Studios game on Xbox Game Pass is coming up, and that's MLB The Show.
Yeah.
So that's like a big thing that we didn't get to talk about. We'll talk about it next week.
Day one also.
Yeah, day one. That's gonna be crazy. But yeah, what is the what's the next one? The next question.
Who would be Sony's biggest competitor?
Oh, biggest competitor. Oh, I'd say.
I mean, at that point, really, it's really only Nintendo.
Yeah, and but if it was like today, say like we were in today's world, I think they would just be versing PC. You know what I mean? And then we'd get the big games. But if it started all the way then yeah, it'd be Nintendo. And then I think we'd get more not quirky, but I think we'd get more side companies making their own consoles too. Instead of just being like, hey, let's stop. Like, because at that time, you know, nothing was popular yet. Everybody was still trying to figure it out. They were trying to make the newest thing. And that's why we got the Dreamcast, the Sega, all that stuff. So without that, I feel like those companies would continue to be like, let's make this next thing instead of. Because whenever PlayStation, Xbox came out, those companies became like, hey, let's just make games and just focus on games. And then we could just put it on these platforms and make money. It's easier that way. So that's my thought.
That makes me actually have a question. That gives me have a question. If all these exclusives never existed and we didn't get all these different games from Xbox, would PC even still stand a chance? Because if you think about it, a big push to have the games that we have on PC now were because they were on consoles and PC gamers wanted those games. So do you think that PC would even be as big as it is today?
Man, they'd be playing Oregon Trail. Still. They'd all be playing Oregon Trail. Yeah. It's just hard to think about, man, because it's like... Because I honestly think without the Xbox, like I think we'd still get here, but just in a different way. You know, somebody out there has the same, not the same ideas, but like I think we would have gotten here. Not at this time, maybe later on, but it would just be a little different.
The reason why I disagree with that is because the backing that Microsoft has, like financially, I think is the biggest issue, that the thing that Microsoft solved. That and is why they're still in the forefront is because let's say because I don't like Xbox was a big success more in a social environment than it was like money wise, you know what I mean, like financially. But Microsoft didn't give up on it because they had so much money backing them. Sega failed because it had no money. Like it was after Dreamcast failed, that was it. So I do agree a lot of people would be coming out with more consoles, but as soon as if that console didn't sell, it's over. Like they're not getting another console. Like Nintendo is one of those companies that still have that thing where they can't fail on consoles in the sense of like, because if they fail, it's going to be a really hard market hit for them. But Microsoft, I mean, the Xbox One wasn't the best success, but like look at the Series X now, like, you know what I mean? But it's because Microsoft has so much money backing them besides doing games that they can just throw unlimited amount of cash towards it. And I think they're one of the few companies that can do that, and Sony is the other. So I don't think we get to this point because I don't know how many of those companies have that money to actually be pushing into consoles.
And to round off that first question there, Chris, what reasons do you think would have led to the failure of the original Xbox?
What reasons led to the original failure?
In this alternate history where the Xbox did not succeed. We talked about Halo being probably the biggest reason. And then, like Alan said, definitely having the backing of Microsoft. And it's
some kind of paywall, like how we had the situation with the Xbox Live thing, and they don't actually take it back. Because back then, man, these companies were like, "This is law. You think I care about your opinion?" I put so much money into this, you know. So I think that's what would cause the failure. Is just that like the fans would be like, or not even they're not even fans yet, but people would just turn away because they would see like, well, these guys are after the cash grab. I'm not going for it. So
All right. Second part of that, Naughty Dog never branches out and develops the Uncharted or Last of Us series. What would they be most well known for, and what would be their next big game?
I think they beat Jack and Daxter into the ground.
Yeah,
Adding
yeah, for
Crash,
sure,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think we get more Crash games, and then Jack and Daxter would be their like adventure, like like big, huge. I know Jack 2 and 3 were like they were considered open worlds, but I'm talking about like open world, like full on.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it would go that way. And to be honest, I feel like when Naughty Dog doesn't do, I mean, I hope they do another Uncharted or something, you know. But I feel like they're gonna go back to Jack and Daxter. I think we're gonna get another game too.
you think so?
I think so because it's like what we talked about with the whole um, remaster stuff. That's one of the games that hasn't been touched at all, and that was a lot of people were big fans of it. They brought back Ratchet and Clank. They brought back Crash Bandicoot. I'm pretty sure they have Jack and Daxter in the back pocket, and they were like, we don't need it yet. Hold on, we don't need it yet. So
I think they'll give it to somebody else. They'll probably give it to what's that developer? I think Bluehole is the one that does all the remasters and reboots. They do a
Oh,
great
yeah.
job, but I think they'll pass it off to somebody else. Okay, Chris. And to finish off the show, shooting games never existed. It includes first person, third person, Grand Theft Auto, guns are not allowed. What genre is the latest craze, and what game is number one on the best selling list?
I'm gonna say those turn-based games, and I feel like Final Fantasy would take over the world. To be honest. And then in my head, I would see like in the world of esports that I'm thinking of. I just recently played Puzzle Street Fighter because that's one of my favorite games, and I got PlayStation Now on my PC, so I've been playing that a lot because you can only get it on there. Um, I can totally see tournaments of Puzzle Street Fighter going on, but yeah, it would be those turn-based games and MOBAs, and platformers would be like a close, like would be in third place. So I would think it would go turn-based MOBAs, so like League and all that stuff, and then platformers would come in.
Okay.
But also, if these shooters weren't around, to be honest, you wouldn't have.
Chris.
Yeah, Cold Fever would not be a thing at all. I honestly think I'd be. I always said like if I wasn't a tech or doing audio or anything like that, I'd be a chef. And with without whole like I said, MOBAs don't have me or anything like that, and the turn-based games didn't have me except for Pokemon. I'd probably be cooking. you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Funny you
So,
say that because I'd probably be doing the same
yeah, I
thing.
wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah. I'll give some quick answers on this, and then we'll get into our pro show. If the original Xbox flopped, never gave PlayStation competition, I don't think Sony would have its well-known exclusives. I think they would have settled for what they currently had at that time. Um, their biggest competitor, I do think it would be Nintendo. And I mean, does Valve get made? If they don't, does Steam ever exist? Does Half Life ever get made? You know, would Microsoft double down on Valve because they eventually bought them?
Mhm.
Or yeah, they no, sorry, I
They
lied.
tried to.
Gabe used to work for Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for the as far as the reason the OG Xbox would have failed, no Halo, and Microsoft was like, "Hey, we're bleeding too much money. This is not worth it."
Oh, so
For
you think
sure.
they'd pull out themselves? Like,
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I'm honestly surprised that the original Xbox continued on because
Mhm.
knowing Microsoft at that time, I'm like, there's no way that Microsoft is gonna keep bleeding money, and knowing they're not making any money back on these Xbox sales.
listen,
But
Fusion Frenzy had Xbox on their back.
oh, love that game. Best party game ever. Period. Let's see.
Is that on
Naughty
Game
Dog never
Pass?
branches out.
Is that on Game Pass? Fusion
No, I
Frenzy?
don't think so. No.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
If Naughty Dog never branched out and made Uncharted or The Last of Us, I would be extremely sad, just as you two would be. Uncharted's probably one of my favorite series ever. I love the treasure hunter thing, and I need Nathan Drake and Sully and all of them. They're part of my history. You know, I spent time with them. Last of Us is great too. Would they still be as well known as they are today? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think, like Chris said, they will double down on Jack and Dexter. And what's that other game? Crash? Was it Crash?
Yeah,
I think
Yeah,
Crash.
Crash Bandicoot.
I think they would definitely just rehash the same game over and over. Maybe an open world Jack and Dexter would be cool, where you can control the different characters. They do different things, blah blah blah. Yeah.
Guys, Fusion Frenzy is on Game Pass.
Oh,
I'm
shoot.
downloading it. I'm downloading it. Stream on Friday. Stream on Friday. I'm saying it right now. I'm streaming it on Friday. That's it.
And then finally, if first person, third person shooters period never existed, what genre would be the latest craze? I think survival. I think Minecraft would still be number one. Minecraft, some kind of weird form of Tetris. That would be. Would they ever introduce that battle royale mode that Nintendo has? You ever played that? It was 99 Tetris or something.
Oh yeah,
Tetris 99?
Yeah, Tetris
I've
99.
seen
Yeah.
people- I saw actually watch somebody play that yesterday, and I was
Yeah.
really intrigued.
That game is if you are new to Tetris, do not touch that game. Go play normal Tetris. And then you go back, because that, oh my god, it's crazy. It's so crazy.
As far as what game would be number one, yeah, I mean, if we're in the same alternate universe where Xbox flopped, then Minecraft wouldn't be a thing. But if it's a separate universe, then yeah, I think Minecraft would be number one,
Yeah.
and survival period, like games like DayZ and Rust, and who knows. So yeah, all right. That is gonna be it for our show. That has been, I believe, our longest show
Yeah, for
yet.
sure.
Hey, it only makes
Almost
it only
2
makes
minutes.
it right for episode 10.
And
Yeah.
yeah, Anna Maria. Oh, Anna Maria says Tetris. I'm a pro. Yeah, okay.
Let's see it.
Okay.
Let's see it.
Let's see it.
I challenge you to
okay.
a duel.
So, guys, before we go, I just want to remind you guys that you can go watch Chris's video on the top 5 indie games over on our YouTube channel, and keep an eye out for my upcoming must-have PC apps for your PC to play. Remember to follow here on Twitch and YouTube to get a chance at winning a mouse, an LPF mouse. It is a Ponage Ultra Custom modified by me, but you have to be following. Rules for that will be out soon. I'll be making a video and posting it on YouTube. And again, as soon as we get to that milestone, we'll be giving it away to one of you random viewers, supporters.
Yeah.
So unless you guys have something else to say, Chris.
I was gonna say, if you did not like the show, it's okay, but share with your friends. I know this genre of, like, nerd talk and stuff like that isn't for everybody, but it is. I'm sure some of your friends would love it. Please share it, and please comment on our videos. Let us know what you guys think. Tweet at us, please. At some point, we'd love to get you guys involved and get more guests on the show. Yeah, and then also, like I said, Friday I am committing. I will be streaming on the LPF channel. And keep an eye on Twitter for when I go live. If it's not Fusion Frenzy, it'll be something else. So yeah.
Alan, you got anything for us?
No, just nothing really. I got my video next week, which is not this Friday, but will be about Dreamcast, like I hinted at. I'll pretty much be talking about, like, I guess, the mini rise in the fall, and how just talking about Dreamcast, because I feel like it's something I need to mention. So come check that out next Friday.
All right, and with that being said, thank you guys. Great show, gentlemen. And we will see you guys at the same time next week, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, here on Twitch. Have a great one. Last place Fire Team.